nondescript conference room at the Sheraton Hotel during the JFL Toronto.
I know this. I love this shit because it's so much funnier when you're just like, where did you record this one? In a random conference room that we kind of bogarted.
Basically, if you see us constantly looking over, it's for security. I have my pass out just in case, so they see that they're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
I got you. What's up?
What's up, man?
Yeah. Long time no see.
I know, dude. It's good to see you. For those of you who are watching this, this is the dumbest timeline. You guys know the vibe. The whole point of this podcast is that we live in the dumbest timeline, not the darkest one. And every week we think of something that makes us feel like we're in the dumbest timeline, and we try and discuss it with a guest. This week, our guest is
Hisham Kelati, baby. Wagwan.
Mr. Kelati. Dude, so this week I'd hit you up.
Yes, I had many dumb things to bring up. You obviously read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Love it.
I think it's like the book 3 or 4 when they meet the guy with the dolphins on the beach, and his whole thing about like the box of toothpicks having instructions on how to use. He's just like, obviously we are in the dumbest timeline. Like, if you need instructions on a box, and that's like having worked in like health and safety, like understanding that there are instructions on how to consume things because people are so dumb.
Yes.
But then there's like dumb people who like, even post-COVID, you spend $20 on a fucking movie theater ticket and you speak the entire time, the 2.5 hours, nothing of value ever. And like in a room full of 100 people trying to have a shared experience.
Yeah.
But you shot me a potential subject that immediately triggered like a deep, innate, revolutionary like impulse instinct in me.
I only heard about this a couple days ago. I've never heard anyone else talk about it until my partner was reading something and was just like, man, this quiet quitting stuff is getting out of hand. And I was like, what's quiet quitting? And she's just like, have you? And she knows that I spend a lot of time online. She doesn't spend a lot of time online. So she was confused as to like, how did you miss this?
This new buzzword, this new thing that's like on the front of every financial and like kind of conservative paper.
Right.
Quiet quitting.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
So for those of you who don't know what quiet quitting is, I will try and explain it as unbiased as possible because I want us to have a discussion. Actually, you know what? No, fuck that shit. I'm going to explain it as it is. A bunch of people who...
Capitalist fat pigs.
I almost feel like we should do the Key and Peele...
Barack Obama.
Yeah, translator. So a bunch of people...
Capitalist fat pigs, yes.
Are trying to reframe the idea of not doing enough for the company.
They're trying to shame people who decide to do everything in their job description and no more than that.
And in doing so, they're trying to frame that so that they can convince people that the company is worth dedicating more of your time.
They want them to work harder so the company makes more money, even though the workers who are working like 2 or 3 times as much get little to no additional benefits. In fact, probably they're going to get their shit cut.
And that's pretty much it, folks. So I love it.
Listen, it is infuriating because I've spent my entire adult life working in the corporate and public service, and it's always them trying to maximize their profits and their output at the expense of all the workers.
Right.
Okay,
right.
We are on the cusp of another workers' revolution because
right.
we are eating it. Okay, we're in late stage capitalism. The fucking veil has fallen down. We're starting to realize that corporations, which are owned by a very small, finite group of people,
smaller and smaller,
that have most of the world's money,
yes,
are trying to shame us into making them more money, trying to make us feel guilty about the fact that I don't want to put my blood, sweat, and tears into a job for the bare minimum money they can give me without
right.
it being criminal or what it effectively is becoming, slavery again.
Yeah.
And so that they can pocket their money. And I know I sound like, just like a fucking like a loony conspiracy, like a commie kind of a thing. But the flip phrase to quiet quitting is, the way they're supposed to actually put it is working your wage.
Right.
They want you. They're trying, especially post-COVID, when the world shut down and people started to realize that they could still functionally do their jobs. I'm not talking about people like in the service industry or like retail where you actually have to be at like the register or serving people. I'm talking about people who work in offices in any capacity, that they don't need to do the unchanged since like post like baby boomer like World War II nonsense where you have to go into the office with a suit and tie and work at a desk. You could literally work from the comfort of your home,
right,
still put out the output, but not have to be micromanaged, like viewed, held in your corporate cell
Yeah.
for the 8 hour duration, because they need, and by they I mean management, needs to feel as if they're doing something meaningful with their lives, because they're past the point of being an actual worker. They're just managing the workers. So now you have an entire, like I'm talking, an entire globe being able to work, especially younger people. Like the Gen Xers, I'm really betrayed by, because baby boomers are classic. Like if you ever watch Mad Men, it's just that mentality, but like through the years.
Yeah.
But Gen Xers like basically dress like millennials, but act and still have the social, same professional social values as baby boomers. So like even they're like, they come back to the office like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Meanwhile, I'm at home vibing. I don't have to spend 3 collective hours a day commuting
Oh, God,
to
yeah.
my job back and forth, when I can just roll over, sit on my couch, not have to keep spending money on, like, I know I'm not a lady, but like makeup and hair, clothes,
Right.
shoes, transit passes, food. I can be in the comfort of my home. I don't have to be micromanaged by my, potentially shitty boss, or, be trapped in that elevator conversation with just like Helen from accounting, who everyone hates, but like if you make eye contact with her, you're just stuck in a meaningless conversation for 2 hours. And it's literally corporations trying to maximize their profits and shame us.
Right.
Like they make you feel bad about taking paid time off, PTO.
Right.
Like, it's people literally fought wars inside, like to have unions, to build benefits, to have like not only benefits, like
rights
healthcare,
and
but
access.
yes,
Yeah.
like fucking children. There are American
Paternity
states that are basically knocking down child labor laws so you can make a fucking 14-year-old work.
Jesus Christ.
We're reverting back, and because it's that whole mentality of capitalism. It's the quote unquote American dream, although at this point it's just the dream in general. But you can make something from yourself, bootstraps.
Yeah.
That's why there was this whole obsession with like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and like non fungible tokens. It's just because everyone is trying to find a way to make a quick buck.
Right.
Because the rat race is killing you.
Yeah.
And now when people, like, especially post COVID, when first of all, universal basic income should be implemented. We're spending billions of dollars on
Everything else.
Everything else.
Everything else.
If you just gave everyone an extra like $500 to $700, just to like pay off just enough to,
Right.
that's maybe groceries, that's maybe maybe a couple of like YMCA classes for your
Right.
kid,
Like just the bare essentials.
bare essentials.
So that every day, and you know what? We would also have this situation where all the things that you're taxing that we keep telling you, like pink taxes and all these other things, is just like, that's kind of crazy that you guys do that. But if you just gave us the money to alleviate the pressure of those taxes, and if you told us, well, these taxes are so that we can continue to do some of these services in which we can support you, as much as it's bullshit, I would at least be able to swallow the pill a little easier. But instead, you don't want to give me any extra, and you're putting taxes on things that don't need taxes, and then you're just watching us crawl and dig and scratch, and then you want us to walk all over each other. And then when people start to have breakdowns, and people start to have burnout, and people start to have emotional situations that they can't handle, and they have anxiety and all these things, and then you go, well, that's not on us.
Listen, because like there is going to be such a huge mental health crisis globally post-pandemic, because they're never going to change. They need to make more money, because that's the rat race they're stuck in. And if the cost of living keeps increasing like it is, and they're using excuses like, oh, the supply chain in the Ukraine because of the Russian war. Listen, you're telling me every fucking service and good in the whole world is based off of that little slip? No.
Right,
it's just them rising gas prices, housing prices, food costs. Like, it's so much money for milk and bread now.
Yeah.
And you have corporations who refuse to give more money. There's bare minimum not bonuses, but pay increases that don't reflect like an appropriate, realistic.
Cost of living.
Yes, it's not a real cost of living No, it's an extra 15 cents. Even while everything's up $2.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
My partner's a nurse. We're from Quebec. We're currently in Ontario right now as we're recording this. And in Quebec, we watched my mother has been a nurse most of my life. So I've watched as the healthcare system has just had money drained from it slowly but surely. And then when the pandemic hit and there was this big panic, instead of realizing like, oh, we did such a poor job for the past 2.5 decades of maintaining our healthcare system, they just said, okay, we're going to flood the system with money right now for quick payouts. So they started offering the nurses insane, wild bonuses, which they deserve, obviously. I'm not saying that nurses didn't deserve the money they got, but instead of building a proper system that could pay them properly, they built a system that doesn't support them properly. The negotiations behind the scenes, because my mother works in the union office, so I heard the stories about them trying to negotiate a fair and honest pay increase, which they never wanted to give them. But during the pandemic, here's an extra $15K if you sign this contract to work full time for 1 year. Here's an extra double overtime for this short period of time. Here's all these things. And by the way, this is only for as long as we actually need you to help the healthcare system.
For the pandemic, yes.
During the pandemic. As soon as that is done, even though the country is still in shambles, people are emotionally distraught and broken. We're still going to turn around and just pull all of that away, and all the nurses who are now overworked, overextended, and on burnout, who have no incentive to stay, are also all going to pull out. So then your healthcare system is going to get even crazier. Your surgeries are going to get delayed. Everything in the system is going to look even worse, because during the pandemic, the only thing that kept it up was you pried this golden bar, you just stuck it in there and said, we just need you to hold up this platform long enough. And now you're pulling it out, and the platform is going to start falling. And then you're going to say well, this is, and then this is what we're talking about. You're going to say, well, these nurses are quiet quitting. They show up, they do their 12-hour shift, and they don't want to do anything else.
And that's the most infuriating aspect of it is they are, listen, when you see everyone who's worked for a job, I don't care if it's even McDonald's, there is an extensive job description and relevant experience required to do the job. This is literally the list of things that you need to do and what enticed you to do the job. Now, that's worth X amount of dollars.
Right.
They want you to do this and basically a second additional role and job and responsibilities, but that doesn't come with twice as much money. You're getting the exact same amount of money for two jobs you're basically working in terms of responsibilities and stuff versus the one. And the audacity.
Yeah.
The audacity to be told that you're not doing more than you're supposed to is a judgment.
Yeah.
You're paying me to do this much. If there's extra stuff, what happens when you're a kid and you do extra work? You get extra things. When you're a kid at school, you do an extra good job, you get extra treats, extra gold star.
Yeah.
You're telling me that you want me to do 3 times as much work, 3 times as much stress, 3 times as little benefits for the exact same amount of money and have the audacity to call it quiet quitting? You want to know what I call it quiet quitting? Because they're victim blaming.
Of course.
They're turning it on to the actual worker. I didn't do anything. I'm doing exactly what you told me to do. But you want me to do more? That's absolutely fine. But you pay me more. That's how this whole relationship works.
That's the craziest part to me. The idea that there's a job description. I'm doing what the job description says. You didn't necessarily... A lot of the times, the extra work that we're doing is because as employees of the company, often, I would say, we notice where there's a few extra things we could do that we do because we want to help the company. Because at least in my experience...
Initiative. I get it. Yeah.
And I'm not... This is not all companies, because I know there are full-on companies that give you a job description and then give you a stack of other things and tell you, we need you to do this as well. But I'm talking about... And that's the 90% of it, and we know that's the situation. But I'm talking about the few people who go into the office, start doing the work, and start to realize, well, I actually like this place, and I could do a few extra things that might help. And then when they do those few extra things, the initiative, like you're mentioning, the punishment is more of it, more work.
But no pay.
No pay.
They just saw that, he's got the time.
Right.
We'll put it on him.
Right.
And I really feel like the pandemic we were given an opportunity to radically shift the format in which we do work, and they're so obsessed with maintaining the status quo that they would drag people. And we're still in the middle of a pandemic. Don't get me wrong. Listen, regardless of where you are on the spectrum, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. If you're still getting sick and it's still the same virus, we're still in the middle of it.
Yeah.
The fact that they want everything to go back to normal because the fucking corporations weren't making enough fucking money. And the idea of work-life balance went out the window.
Completely.
Because The work-life balance was, hey, I could work at home and my mental health is balanced,
Right.
rather than going to in an office again, being kind of forced to. It's almost, and again, this is, I know this, I'm going to sound like a goddamn commie, but it's almost like a prison sentence.
Yeah.
You're going back from your weekend off at home back to your minimum security jail,
Yeah.
where you get your 3 square meals. You got to go like hammer out some fucking license plates in the shop, and then go back home. And again, it's let's say capitalism. It's just a small group of people, shareholders, board of governors, the same 15 guys who are directors on the same 15 things, making money.
Yeah.
You think Jeff Bezos, like in the start off, was actually doing work? Okay, he was when he was still in the garage, he was working. But now he's a billionaire. No billionaire has earned the billionaire part.
Right.
You're a millionaire. You've earned being a millionaire.
Yeah.
You're tens of millionaires. Oh, you're investing. Once you become a billionaire, slavery's involved.
Yeah. You start to realize that for you to have acquired that much, you had to take it from other people somewhere. You had to actively, you had to, and again, we're using the word slavery because there's no other word that we could use to describe the idea that I need this much money and I need this much manpower to make that much money. And to do that, if I pay you this little...
And we're now legally forced to pay them.
Yeah.
So let's see how little
Right.
we can make it.
And what's the minimum I could do? I can pay you this exact amount. I can give you these these little services, this healthcare, this stuff. This is the bottom line that I can give you.
To entice you to come.
And then I'll throw in some crazy stuff like, oh, you get a discount at a coffee shop around the corner. And you're just like, and people who are, and again, like we know, things have been bad. There are people who are looking for jobs. And then, of course, with the pandemic, there are people who lost their jobs. So people started going like, okay, well, at least I could work at this place. Amazon has started blowing up. And then so it's 9 to 5. You're going to work whatever department you're working. And you need, but we also have the coffee that we're giving you at the office. Don't you want to stay and do an extra 15 minutes and, help? This is, hey, you're almost finished with that palette. Why don't you guys just finish that up and feel like you didn't finish it in time because you weren't working fast enough or hard enough. And again, it's the victim blame.
Penalized.
It's that sense of like, I'm working as physically fast as I can. I'm doing these tasks as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible. I'm trying my best. I'm also, like you said, trying to figure out a balance while I'm at work. Because I don't know about you guys, there's no workspace in the world where you go in, sit down, and do the 8 hours with your 1 hour break, and your brain is only on the exact 8 hours. It's not even possible to do that.
Honestly, I think like maybe for like 10 years post World War II when there was fucking no TV yet,
Right.
you could exist. But the moment there's a TV, bro, anything with a screen, it's over.
Right.
And this is my worry. Listen, the people who do quiet quitting, like one of the worst articles I ever saw, and when I knew it was like we lost, was when there was an article, I think it was on like Forbes or Globe and Mail, some right-wing rag, where they said that office air, because it was recycled, reduced the likelihood of you contracting COVID. And I was like, is this an Onion article? Like, that is 100% the most gratuitous, in-your-face, gross example of them trying to use media to undermine and like shift the narrative to be like, hey, come back to the office. It's okay. You won't get COVID, I promise.
Yeah.
And like, oh man, mask mandates are gone. Like they've done, and especially in America, they said, look, wait, you need to be in incubation or lockdown for like 10 days. Quarantine for 10 days. If you contract it, now they made it 5 days,
right?
Because they want you to back on the fucking floor, bro.
I remember when the airlines and admitted to pushing to have it only be 5 days.
So,
and I remember thinking, wait, so are you guys admitting that you non-medical individuals are pushing for a mandate to be changed?
And why? Because they were losing money. And so the idea of, and again, like as millennials, I have never felt as a generation more, maybe like the Gen Z kids, but they're going to be in the middle of fucking World War III fighting over water, so it'll be fine. Like in terms of millennials, because we've gone through multiple major economic disasters.
Yes.
We have gone through I can list off like 7 wars,
Yeah.
massive social change,
Right.
and the entire time there's
And massive climate stuff. By the
Oh,
way.
buddy, don't even.
We didn't even get
Don't
into
even
that.
start
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But the only thing these fucking baby boomer Gen X pieces of shit told us was stop eating avocado toast. Who the fuck? None of my friends eat fucking avocado toast. You think that's the fucking problem? Straws? You think that's the fucking problem? And now they have the audacity to tell us we're not working hard enough because I feel like we're the first generation where it peaked. All the good stuff for us peaked in our by the time we were 15, 16. Because now it's all gone downhill because nothing is nearly as good enough.
Yeah.
Everyone's staying alive for longer, so there's less likely for us to be getting job opportunities. And if they do, we're stuck at that same position for an extended period of time because our bosses will outlive us all. And, if there's no reason for me to work hard, because I grew up, especially as an immigrant, you work hard, put your nose to the grindstone,
right?
You lift yourself by the boot. Which, by the way, I did not realize that the concept of lifting yourself by the bootstraps is a fake analogy because it's supposed to reference the fact that it is impossible. You cannot lift yourself up by the bootstraps. Yeah. It was meant to be satirical and absurd, but now people have taken it because people are dumb and only use the first half of fucking sayings. And so it's like if there's no reason for me to work, why would I be working? It's the only reason seems to be free pizza every once in a while. Some sodas in the fridge. There's a new coffee machine and all the hot chocolate you can drink. So they want you to work an extra 2 fucking hours.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Why am I gonna bust my balls? There's no way for me to leave. I would move up, so I gotta leave.
Yeah.
And if I leave, I'm real quitting versus quiet quitting.
Yeah.
So
again, by the way, quiet quitting is not actually
quitting. It's nothing. It's a terrible name. You're just doing your job. You're not just fucking burning yourself out for nothing.
It drives me nuts when it was explained to me that I was just so most people who know me will understand this exact moment. When I read quiet quitting, I immediately thought it meant people just
disappearing, right? Like just leaving the job. Yes.
Ghosting the company. Yes. And I was just like, so when someone explains to me, it's like
there's an epidemic of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, right?
Yeah, and then right, because they did a couple months ago tell us about how people were especially the hospitality industry were were just leaving companies. They would get a job and
because you get a bare minimum salary. Right. You're supposed to live off of tips.
Right.
Post COVID, no one's making money because everything's shut down, so no tips.
Right. So a lot of people were just not even calling back and were just leaving. Mm-hmm. So then when I heard quiet quitting the first time from my partner and then from one of my friends, I was just like, oh, that makes sense. I know it's false. For those of you watching or for listening, we just fixed my jacket so I look a little more fly. But so you get to this point where so when I heard quiet quitting, I was just like, oh yeah, that makes sense as a description for people quietly exiting.
Yes.
It's not the
soft resignation. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
But then they started to explain to me, no, it's when people do their jobs for as per the description and do the exact 9 to 5. And I was just like, what? Wait, I don't understand. These people are still working at the company. They still go in every day. They still do the job. They're still doing their task, and they do that. And they're using the word quitting.
And it's not like it's 60% of the task. They're doing 100% of what they're asked. They're doing all of it.
Like you said before, unless I'm Topanga from Boy Meets World trying to get 110% and a gold star on my paper, or any Urkel, any overachiever character you've watched growing up who always wanted to have 110 and the GPA so high that it didn't even calculate properly.
Perfect scores all around. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Unless you're doing that at work. You know what I mean? You're doing that stuff and I remember thinking about the quiet quitting thing at first and thinking funny enough to the 90s stuff and wondering were they showing us overachievers in a way to tell us you should be an overachiever? But then I remembered no, they always drew the overachievers as slightly annoying. Yeah,
Lisa Simpson is the perfect example of the most obnoxious, entitled, kind of go-getter, like a Leah Michelle from Glee kind of vibe,
yes.
Election with Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, yes,
and we spent entire generations shitting on them.
Right.
Hermione, no one liked it for the first 3 books. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing that we want to make clear to people, that First of all, they're using that term again, like you said. They're trying to make you. They're trying to victim blame. They're trying to make
propaganda. It's genuine propaganda.
Propaganda. Shout out to my professor, my propaganda professor from university, Dennis Murphy. Rest in peace. The man gave us the most amazing education on this subject, and I wish he was here. I honestly, every time I see stuff like this going on, I wish I could just go into his class and audit it from the back of the room to hear him discuss these subjects. Because when I did that propaganda class, and he showed us what the Nazis did, and he showed us what the Americans did, and he showed us, because don't get it twisted, every country that you've seen, and now every capitalist system you see is using propaganda to try and keep you down. And for it would have been beautiful to watch Dennis Murphy tear this whole thing, quiet quitting, to the ground. And I know he's up there, and I say that I'm not even a religious person, but this is one of the few times that I'll say, if there is a heaven, that man is watching from up there going, these motherfuckers. And I say that because I've respected the fuck out of that dude, and this situation is insane. So for all of you working and doing your jobs 9 to 5, do not feel an ounce of guilt. Do not feel anything but the pride you put into the job. And if you're not happy at the job and you're thinking like, sometimes it's tough and all I can dedicate is this, that's okay too. Because I can tell you right now, there's not a job in the world where every single person in that company feels like this is a gift from the gods and they are being blessed with libations. No, we all go through rough times, and there's nothing wrong with feeling sometimes like I just need to do the job. And if anything, we should all just be doing the job, because rightfully so, and with all respect to every employer out there, you should be paying us more if you want us to do more. And that's not even a crazy thing to say, to pay people more if you want them to do more. The same way you own your companies, and the same way that your company goes out there and tries to get more money for whatever the service is, because you're putting in all this work. You're going out there. I can't even, like, if you're saying we're going to build this building taller than any building, and you're going to put out a bid and you want to get paid this much money, and then it's going to go over a few months and you want extra money, guess what? You have a reason to ask for the extra money, because it's going to take extra this and extra that. It's the same way that every one of the employees you have in your company sitting down and working hard deserves to get their extra. And don't make them feel guilty about it. That's insane. One of the reasons I like my boss, and I'm one of the few people who likes their boss, is because my boss will always sit down and tell us, 1, what's going on, 2, how much she needs us to do, 3, if we're not doing the job, she will be honest with me and tell me, hey, what's going on? Not even an accusatory way. Is there something that is limiting your ability to do your job more efficiently? And I'll be like, boss, I'll be honest. I've been thinking about this medical thing. That she's just like, why don't you go find out what's going on? I went, and my boss told me, go see the doctor about your knee. I want you to be healthy so that you feel comfortable at work. And I did all those things. And guess what? Every morning during that pandemic, I rolled out of bed, sat at that desk, did my job, and felt confident and comfortable knowing my boss cared enough to make sure that on those other days where I wasn't focused, and the reasons I wasn't focused was taken care of. Imagine that.
We just need a lot of old people to die all at the same time so we can all become the best bosses possible. You know what I mean?
So crazy. Yo, dude, Mr. Kelati.
Listen, I feel like we just lit the spark on the eventual revolution right now.
But if anything, it gives us an opportunity to do this again. Because I love this conversation. Doing it in Toronto with you was so much fun. I was like, when we were trying to figure out, like, oh yeah, doing it in a random conference room.
I'm surprised. Listen, we made it almost 30 minutes, and no one has come in to kick us out yet. I'm like, I'm really good.
You know what? If anything, they overheard us and were just like, that's right, that's the revolution. So to all the people out there that walked by, to everyone who's been enjoying this episode, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Where can people check out your stuff?
Check me out on Instagram at Hisham Kelati, or at TikTok also at Hisham Kelati. And feel free to message me. I'll give you some good food recommendations regardless of what city you're in.
Oh, dope. Okay. And guys, that's as always, I say it every week. This isn't the darkest timeline. It's just the dumbest one. And we are on this voyage together, and we will figure out how to make it a little bit better every week, one bit at a time. So thank y'all for tuning in. Peace out.